Saudi Arabia will be hosting the 2034 World Cup, coming with lots of controversy.
So I understand the outrage. However,
it has been an amazing year in the footballing world. It was a summer that had the Euros and Copa America. We had, of course, our usual, title races, Champions League, MLS, all those sorts of things. But want to talk about some of the exciting things that happened this year. And we're going to start with Player of the Year for 2024 and our young players of the year for 2024.
Club of the Year, I'll say Atalanta.
Great story.
Insane story. I'm so happy for Gasperini.
My international team of the year is definitely Colombia. I think they were the most exciting team to watch this summer.
In my lifetime, I'm going to read it off real quick. They won in 98, 2000, 2002, 2014, 2016 through 18, 2022, and 2024. That's fucking insane.
That is insane.
Let's clap it up. Episode 74 of the Five-A-Side podcast. That was our fourth intro of the episode, but you don't have to know about that. And we are celebrating 2024,
Yes,
and we're going to be talking about 2034. Lots of controversy there. But who am I joined by today?
What's going on, guys? Seb?
Gabriel here, as always.
Kendrick.
Yes. So we're going to talk, once again, this is our end-of-year wrap-up, some of our favorite players, teams, comeback stories, saddest injuries. But before we get into talking about 2024, we have to talk about 2034.
Yes, sir.
So we have very big news of confirmation that Saudi Arabia will be hosting the 2034 World Cup. This was something that we already assumed was going to happen based on 2030 being played across 3 continents, kind of leaving Saudi as really the only nation that could take hold of the 2034 World Cup. And now it is confirmed, and it is coming with lots of controversy. As you can imagine, it feels pretty similar to when the 2022 Qatar World Cup got announced. And so lots of discussions around, is this ethical? Is it not? We're going to get into some of the details, but any initial reactions before we talk about the controversy behind it and maybe why people feel that way and all the different sides to it.
I have nuanced feelings. I think we all do.
Yeah, very nuanced. But what we don't see is a lot of nuance. Okay. Mostly what we're seeing is one-sided viewpoints.
So what I've seen is a lot of public anger and outcry against the fact that Saudi Arabia will be hosting a majority of the 2034 World Cup games. The reason why people seem very much upset because of this is due to a lot of the human rights violations that the Saudi Arabian government has committed against its people, against migrant workers that have been working in Saudi Arabia. And I agree with all of that. I agree that these things are atrocious, and I agree that Saudi Arabia has committed a lot of terrible things and that their human rights record is not great, and especially their history from a Western perspective of how they've treated women in the past is not great.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the outrage. However, what I will say is that this outrage seems a bit selective, and my question is, why? Because the U.S. is about to host a World Cup, and as an American, I'm curious as to why the West is not anywhere near as critical of the U.S.'s record, the U.S.'s foreign policy, and the amount of people that my country has killed in foreign wars to get oil, which is kind of what people are criticizing Saudi Arabia for. Ultimately, every single World Cup has had some level of sports washing, whether it's South Africa, whether it's Brazil, whether it's Russia, whether it's Qatar. There have always been major issues around these massive countries who are able to pay the money to host a World Cup. If you are that massive a country and you have that much money to dish out, there are some issues behind the scenes. So then the selective outrage for why Saudi Arabia is getting criticized much more so than other nations raises the question of, is there xenophobia involved? And I'll pass it to you.
And I would even say, I would say yes, but not even just specifically xenophobia. But for me, seeing the 2022 World Cup being Qatar, the 2034 going to Saudi Arabia, what Western media, you can clearly see is feeling. They're feeling like they're losing their control of the sport of football.
Exactly.
And that's the same reason they have the issues with players going to the Saudi League for the club teams. So that's why I agree with you in terms of selective outrage, because everything you listed in terms of human rights violations, especially around migrant workers, issues with the treatment of the LGBTQ community, even just criminalizing sex outside of marriage, just all types of stuff, which you can Google, tons of issues. But there's tons of issues in America that you can also Google and that are going on right now within our country. And tons of issues, not just in our country, but what our country does across the rest of the world.
Right.
Very well documented. You can find all that. Once again, the reason I'm seeing such a visceral reaction, it's that idea of that loss of control, that the West doesn't own the sport anymore. And I think that's why you see such vehement opposition to it and not looking at the human rights violations in the country and outside of the country done by other governments that are in the Western world.
Right.
So that's my viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. And like I was saying too yesterday when we left, I feel like one thing I've been reflecting on a lot is just like the tension between like being a soccer fan and being able to like escape a lot of the violence that's occurring in the world, whether it's Haiti, Sudan, Palestine, the Congo, Ethiopia, like all these places like seem to kind of like not be centers of football. Like all the centers of football that we kind of keep up with, Syria, Italy, England, Spain, are unaffected by a lot of the violence that's like so prevalent on social media and on TV. And it's like it just had me thinking about how the powers that be, these countries that have all this money, that have like the means to host all these events and stuff, um, have the ability to just be separated from like extreme violence. And a lot of that violence that we see on TV is the result of destabilization from these countries
With the power, yep.
that we keep up with in terms of their sports. So it's just like a weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's like active acts of like just power dynamics and violence. And so
yeah,
I think kind of strayed away a little bit from the Saudi specific conversation, but I think it just kind of
it's relevant.
It just ties into like how all this stuff works.
Well, it's a wider question. It's a wider question of like, what is the line between the immoral acts of a government versus sports being played in that country?
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before in terms of what's going on with Russia not being allowed to play any UEFA competition versus Israel being allowed. And then it's like, what is that line? Who decides it? Is it the governing bodies? But no one trusts the governing bodies.
Right.
As a fan, how do you decide? Or are you kind of more of a blanket statement that, to be honest, every major country is fucked up in mad ways. And the sport is separate from that, you know? And is there a moral country? Who could host the World Cup in a moral way? You know what I mean? So just as fans, as organizations, as coaches, as players, everybody has to figure out what is the line to be drawn. And I think it's kind of a personal decision. If you don't want to watch the World Cup because of where it is, you could do that. But I would hope that you hold every single World Cup in every single country to the same standard of not committing these violations and not just doing it because of where it's located.
Yep.
Because no one examined America about 2026 and all the insane shit in this country and done outside this country.
And I would just add, like, for anybody who kind of has just like preconceived notions about Saudi Arabia, I would suggest watching the documentary that they put out, Kickoff, on Netflix about the Saudi Pro League. Because it's just a lot of information in there about like the behind the scenes of how this league was able to acquire all these players and like what their long-term mission is. Because I feel like in the beginning, and they touched on it in the documentary itself, in the beginning when they signed Ronaldo, when they signed Neymar, all these big names, everybody was like, oh, this is like a ridiculous project. It's never going to work. But a lot of people don't actually understand like what this means for the country, what this means for like the little kids who are growing up playing soccer, playing for a school, playing for local club teams, but don't really see a future like on the pro level or being able to like go outside. And so yeah, like what they're trying to do with soccer over there is a project that's just as valid as the Premier League or any other country that's trying to grow their domestic league. So,
and I actually went to college with a YouTuber from Riyadh. That's in Saudi Arabia, right? Yeah, from Riyadh. And it's not just footy they're growing. Their content creation is growing.
UFC
their business is growing. Their e-commerce is growing. Tourism is growing. Like they're looking to completely change that country and just business in general in the Middle East. So footy is one of the biggest vehicles for that. But this is an overall transformation of that area of the world that you should keep an eye out across all types of business. So, yeah. All right, that is 2034 news, but bringing it all the way back to where we are today, towards the end of 2024. It has been an amazing year in the footballing world. It was a summer that had the Euros and Copa America. We had, of course, our usual, title races, Champions League, MLS, all those sorts of things. But want to talk about some of the exciting things that happened this year for a few different superlatives or key topics to discuss. And we're going to start with Player of the Year for 2024. So you can maybe select who you think was the best, maybe who is your favorite, just someone you want to shout out specifically. So it doesn't have to be like who you would have given the Ballon d'Or to, but just your personal Player of the Year for 2024.
I mean, I feel like y'all could probably guess mine at this point.
By all means, please let us know.
Badman.
It's Cole.
Badman
It's gotta be Cole Palmer. I mean, what he's done for Chelsea as an organization, the name that he's made himself after kind of being in the shadows at Man City, I think like he's like one of the breakout stars of this year. I mean, people who don't even really watch soccer know like the cold celebration. If you're not a Chelsea fan, you kind of still fuck with like the aura and what he's kind of bring to that organization. Um, and even just everybody jokes and laughs about like the whole like St. Kitts background thing,
Yeah.
but I think that's like just a cool
Yeah.
part of the story about who he is and like what adds to his personality. So it's got to be Cole Palmer.
Seb?
This is interesting. So I think the player that I enjoyed watching the most this year was probably Rafinha at Barcelona.
Including last season in 2024?
And I'm gonna get into it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I was just saying.
I'm talking about like the way that he's someone that I've always found interesting to watch as a player because he's a Brazilian winger that isn't spoken about on the level of the other two Brazilian wingers, Vini and Rodrigo, that often are given much more of a shine. But I feel like his talent level is very, very high.
Yeah.
And although he didn't start off the year great, he's in an insane patch of form right now.
Oh yeah.
And is always balling. And so he's someone that for me he kind of defines like perseverance as an athlete for me.
Yeah.
And I've really, really enjoyed watching him because he also gives a fuck. He's like one of those players that cares.
Yeah.
He's not just pure talent, he cares.
Bro, he's captain now.
Yeah.
He's fucking leader of that team.
So
From flop to captain is crazy. And he's
skilly, he can hit a long shot too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Rafinha for me has been fun to watch.
No, 100%. My player of the year, as you can assume as a Real Madrid fan, is Vinny Jr. Not just for me right now, the best player in the world, but like just the joy of watching him. Every time he gets the ball, he just creates absolute chaos for the defense, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about impact for wingers, we like so much the G/A, goals and assists, but just the gravity he holds every time he gets the ball. You cannot isolate him one-on-one because he will beat you. You have to bring a second person. You have to bring a third person. And he's not just beating you. He's doing it in all types of ways. He can beat you vertically. He can beat you being shifty horizontally. He can do all types of crazy tricks to get around you. He's scoring from distance. He can score tap-ins. He's unselfish. He got Mbappe a tap-in the other day. He's clutch with his penalties. He scored in another Champions League final to win another Champions League. And you spoke about perseverance. Vinny's persevered and improved a ton since he got to Real Madrid. I remember when he first got there at 18, shitty perm. The hair was crazy. The hair was as bad as the form. It was bad, bro. Once he let the natural curls out, started balling. He used to just be pure speed demon, crazy dribbler. End product was not there. Decision making was not there. Final pass was not there. The year by year growth and leadership growth of Vinny Jr. to what is me right now, the current best player in the world, is incredible. And doing that in the face of racism and doing that in the criticism of every time he argues with a ref or yells at the crowd, whatever, that people have something to say about it. I just love watching him play, and I love that he allows his full self out on the pitch. So
I'll never forget Benzema saying he's playing against y'all. I'll never forget that.
That's what flipped the script, actually.
Yeah, low key.
That's what flipped the script for him. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hey, don't pass it to him. He's playing against us.
And look, that means you can repair issues with your friends.
Yeah.
They won the Champions League together the year after that. It's crazy. Moving on from player of the year, going to make it a little bit younger version, our young players of the year for 2024.
I think I'm going to have to give it to Elise.
Okay.
He's young enough, yeah.
I think not necessarily due to what he's done on the stat sheet, but kind of the progression that he's had.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from Crystal Palace, I think a lot of people knew that he was a talented player, but I don't think a lot of people thought so quickly he was going to end up at a club with the caliber of Bayern Munich.
Mm-hmm.
So him making that transfer, everything that he's meant to like the French national team, especially like over the summer during the Olympics, I think like he's just proving to be like a very important player, a talent, and he's just fly as hell. So
yeah, he is.
I think like for everything he represents coming from the club that he came from, I'm gonna give him my young player of the year.
The true football chill guy too.
No, facts. Yo,
he might be calmer than calmer, bro.
The interviews, bro, he doesn't give much.
Does on the pitch though. I ain't never seen him panic. What?
For me, it's got to be Aston Villa's John Duran.
Great story.
That's a good one.
Like amazing story, but also like the goals that he scores. I haven't seen players with the license to shoot like that in a while, especially in the Prem. 20 years old, Colombian. Like the vibes are there, and I think if he manages to be able to be Colombia's striker, you could see, because that Colombia team is dangerous right now.
They are. They should have won. Man.
So you could see a Colombia go really far in this next World Cup. And he could be that guy for the next 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
He's already at a top club, already a club that like, and I like the fact that he's at like an Aston Villa because he's not necessarily at like a huge club where the pressure is insane every week. So he'll get time to grow.
Yep.
I'm excited. So I think for me, young player of the year, John Duran.
Got you. Not to be that guy, but for young player of the year, I do have to pick two players. Being a Real Madrid fan and Spanish, you know what I'm saying? So my overall young player of the year and on the Real Madrid perspective, definitely without question, Jude Bellingham. What a 2024 he has had in winning La Liga, winning Champions League, and doing so in the form that he did it. And for me right now, he's the best two-way player in the world in terms of what he can contribute to an offense and what he can contribute to a defense and defending the ball, winning the ball in midfield. His ability to uncannily always make the right time of the late run, to never be offside, to finish all those chances, the types of goals he scored in the biggest moments, late winner after late winner, including in 2 El Clásicos, assisting in the Champions League final, winning both of those trophies, the Champions League and La Liga, in his first season, not to mention how good he is with the ball, just controlling tempo or breaking lines, dribbling forward, the decision-making, just everything about Jude is one of the most in-control players in the world. And for him to do what he does going forward, but then winning tackles in midfield, tracking back, even just like delaying a winger who's trying to, get past into the defense. Incredible season for him, and he's only 21. Ridiculous. On the flip side, also have to shout out Lamine Yamal, who turned 17, the day before winning the Euros, and brought me the 3rd Euro win I've now seen for Spain in my life at 27, which is fucking crazy. He's probably the best teenager I've ever seen in my life. Because at 17, I've never seen a player play it at that form, at that level, with that calmness, at a top club and a top country.
Baller.
And when Barca looks bad this season, he's actually carrying them. Like when they didn't know what to do against Betis, it was Lamine finding that quick little slick pass assist to Ferran Torres and just get that ball to the right wing and have him cook. And he's starting to find the end product now, which is the one criticism I have. But it's like, bro, he's 17.
Yeah.
If he can start to like really consistently finish off his dribbles with the scoring like that, and if he can score from distance consistently, we're going to have some GOAT combos maybe, man. Who knows? So shout out to him. And just shout out to La Liga having both of those players in the same league. And then just from the star power of also having Vinny and Mbappe, it's a great 2024 for La Liga. And then thinking about heading into 2025 in the title race, how big it is to have Barca, Madrid, and Atletico all right there at the top, and all the very individually interesting storylines for each team. You have Carlo and Simeone, very experienced coaches, but then Hansi's in his first season. You have new stars, you have old stars, and all three of them have a bit of rivalry between each other. So very exciting heading into 2025 for La Liga for sure.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
What are your predictions?
For the title race? I think Real Madrid 1, Barca 2, Atletico 3, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Atletico now getting these late winners consistently shows that like they're up for it. They're going to keep up pretty well. I don't know how long they'll keep up, but I don't think anyone's winning the title race by more than maybe 9 points. 9 points max. I think it'll go to at least game 34, 35.
Nice.
Yeah.
La Liga fans, you're in for a good one.
You're in for a good title race, man. Best in a while. And then speaking of title races and, the success of the teams I just mentioned, your club of the year and your international team of the year.
Club of the year, I'll say Atalanta.
Great story.
Insane story. I'm so happy for Gasperini. Finally got what he deserved. Finally a little bit of recognition for someone that's been an insane coach for like 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I said at the beginning of the season, maybe we can put the clip right here, but I said, if you have a little bit of money, put something on Atalanta winning Serie A this year. Yeah. In first place right now, cooking. They're in the top half of the Champions League. They wouldn't have to play a qualifier based on how they're doing right now.
Yep.
They are firing on all cylinders. Lookman is looking like African Player of the Year, looking like a Ballon d'Or contender, a top 5 player. They have Ederson on the right that is cooking. Retegui, naturalized Italian. He's playing well. Top scorer in Serie A. So Gasperini has found his squad finally. And just like what they were able to accomplish, beating Leverkusen, who were
Crazy.
Undefeated, were supposed to have that fairy tale season, and I think they beat them 3-0.
Yep,
Lookman hat-trick.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm happy for them, happy for their team, and I'm very, very happy that Italy now has a 6th contender, and it just makes the league much more interesting.
For sure.
Yeah,
International.
Oh, international.
Oh yeah,
that's a good question. International. I might have to say Colombia.
You got the jersey?
Yeah, I might have to say Colombia. As I said earlier, I'm very excited for what John Duran brings to that team. I'm excited for there's an energy about Colombia that I think just didn't quite get fulfilled at Copa. I think they deserve to win Copa.
Yeah.
They played an incredible tournament, and the excitement around that squad hopefully should carry into this World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
They have the talent, they have the players, and they have had the tournament experience to go far in this World Cup. I just think there's a lot of excitement from the Colombian people in general.
Yep.
And whenever Colombia does well at a World Cup, I'm always happy for them, happy to watch. So
for sure.
For me, Colombia.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. My international team of the year is definitely Colombia. I think like they were the most exciting team to watch this summer.
Yep.
They were on a 50+ unbeaten streak.
Yep.
Not 50.
30 something, right?
Yeah, it was like
they almost. It was high, very high.
They went 29 months without losing a game.
Goodness me.
And like just the pieces that they have, Luis Diaz,
James
Rodriguez, kind of making a
Richard Rios.
Richard Rios, captured the hearts.
The song, bro.
Yeah.
The music.
The song
video,
was insane.
Like,
the
they
song
have
was
the best
insane.
vibes, bro.
Yeah.
So, like they have amazing fans too.
Yep.
So I'm definitely rooting for them. My club of the year is definitely gonna be Leverkusen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything that Xavi Alonso is doing over there, all the breakout stars, Wirtz, what's his name?
Boniface.
Frimpong
as well.
I love their friendship, bro. They're hilarious.
Yeah,
they're such good vibes.
So I'm asking for a role.
Or no, AP or something. Yeah, that
AP.
shit was so funny.
It was like the best team to go on this type of streak.
Yeah.
Because they have all the personalities. So
Yeah.
it's like you can't hate them.
And the fly young coach. You know what I'm saying?
Like
It
if
was
you're
dope.
watching from the outside, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I actually like this. I want to see
Yep.
them continue to win.
And they ended the reign of terror of Bayern Munich. It was 11 straight titles.
That's the team I was thinking of that went 50+ games.
Oh,
unbeaten.
Bayern probably. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Leverkusen. Yep.
Or Leverkusen, yeah. I'll keep it brief. Club of the year, my own team, Real Madrid, winning a 15th UCL. I've seen the 10th. Actually, this is even crazier. In my lifetime, I'm going to read it off real quick. They won in 98, 2000, 2002, 2014, 2016 through 18, 2022, and 2024. That's fucking insane.
That is insane.
Shout out Real Madrid, the
That's
best club in
actually
the history.
disgusting.
Since I was born, bro.
Yeah.
They have more than any club has in their history.
That's disgusting.
I was wearing the Beckham jersey. It has a 9 on it. It's 15 now, bro.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And Spain to win another Euros.
Yeah.
And for Spain to win the trophy in the one time I didn't really expect it. Like, I knew we were good. I didn't know we were that good. And to now have this Black Spanish representation that I didn't have much of growing up, besides maybe Marco Senna, who was phased out quickly, Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, now Samu involved as well. Could it be, just great representation. Alejandro Balde too. So that's very inspiring as well as a Black Spaniard. Moving on, we have our breakout players of the year, although we kind of discussed that. Unless you have anyone else you want to shout out.
I have another shot.
All right, let's do it. Yep.
Go
ahead, Seb.
For me, it's got to be Moise Keane.
Re-breakout. Oh, we have a comeback category
Okay,
as well.
so I can say someone else then.
Okay, yeah. Because he's a great
Sure.
story.
I can say someone else. For breakout player of the year, I don't know if this is necessarily a breakout because we've been hearing about him for so long, but I think he's finally put like the world on notice fully is Victor Gyökeres.
Okay.
For Sporting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
I
That's
think
a good shout.
That is a breakout.
No, he is.
I think
We didn't know about this like
This
that.
is
bro.
his like big season.
He's
Okay,
an
okay,
early
cool.
Holland
You guys-
kind of vibe right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
Although he's 26, so he's matured as a player. He's
Yeah.
someone that has had a tough career. He's bounced around. He was at Coventry for a while. Then I think he was at St. Pauli for a little bit.
Gang.
And then at Malmo, he wasn't actually able to like fully produce.
Yeah.
For some reason, Sporting believed in him. Amarin believed in him, brought him in, and bagging goal after goal after goal. The Selly is insane.
That shit is hard as fuck, bro.
I've complained about robotic strikers having robotic ass celebrations. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good celebration right there. That's a very good one.
Yeah.
Kids is doing it.
No,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
That's just-
He can score some goals, and he's really, really, really like he's surprisingly like agile for how big of a striker that he is. So like I think next year we'll see him move to a big club. Hopefully he doesn't go to United, but
Yeah, facts.
I really hope for his career he doesn't go to United because
Ruben is the only United coach in the last decade I have like any faith in besides Mourinho.
but still like
I know it's still United.
it's just like it's a graveyard, bro. The way
It
they did
is.
Xerxes is a graveyard.
True.
Like so
He just started.
They'll be back eventually.
Xerxes?
Yeah.
No, but the way they're talking about him already.
But then he
it's, like,
scored
disheartening.
recently. Like I think Ruben will be the first coach to really get the vibes right.
Anyway,
but we'll see.
so
yeah.
for me, breakout player of the year. I know that we've been hearing about him for some time, but I feel like he's finally kind of hit the ground. Victor Gyökeres.
All right.
Mine is definitely Bradley Barcola.
Oh, go on.
Cheese,
Like,
Babyface Ray.
Yeah, Bradley
It's a great
Barcola.
shout.
Like this is his. I feel like last season he had a decent season.
Yep.
Where's he coming from? Lyon, like 2 years ago.
I don't remember where.
I'll
he was
look
first.
it
I
up
think
for
he's
you.
coming from Lyon, but like
Yeah.
this is definitely his season after Mbappe left. Like PSG has just been scoring like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he finally has a chance to shine. I think he has 10 goals already in the first like 14, 15 games in League. And there's a whole song named after him. I think it's La Hasba 22 or whatever. He made a song literally called Barcola, and the hook is literally Bradley Barcola.
Was he the one doing the live performance?
Yes, bro.
That
And
is
he
so
performed, and he
funny.
performed it live
Shout out to
at
Zone.
the Parc des Princes
That's
at the
so
PSG
funny.
stadium.
That
Bro,
is so funny.
he's like 21 years old.
Yeah.
The halftime performer is singing a
crazy.
song named after him, bro. Everybody in the crowd going crazy.
Facts.
So yeah, breakout
They just
season.
they just got to get it right in the Champions League's the only thing.
Facts.
But in France, they still doing their thing. Florian Wirtz, I think he was the engine of Leverkusen, and they would not have been able to be what they were without him.
Yep.
To have the German national team have him and Musiala as like the options up front with that creativity, that dribbling ability, that goal scoring ability, playing off another, I think is gonna have them back to the type of team we always thought Germany could be.
Yep.
And if they hadn't run into Spain, they probably would have gone farther, maybe even won it. So yeah, and he's just such a fun player to watch. He's just a natural footballer. He can pick up the ball in any location and make it dangerous. Sometimes he's dropping deeper, sometimes catch on the wing.
Yep.
He can make it happen from the center. So Wirtz as a midfielder, I think, is that kind of guy. And there's rumors Madrid wants him, but Madrid wants everybody, you know what I'm saying? And I think he'll make a move soon to another top club. So lots to choose from, but I'll probably go with Wirtz. We then have it's kind of a two-part question. Saddest injury / best comeback of the year. So any player like, damn, I wish they hadn't been injured. And then somebody also who made a comeback, whether from injury or just like a return to form. So
I have a very niche one.
please do it.
Georgie Munungu, who plays for the Seattle Sounders.
Okay.
I was watching him play against LAFC. I think it was the semifinals. He was cooking everybody, bro. Like he's one of those players that he's a winger, 22 years old. He's a Ivorian, and when you see him, like when you watch him in the game, he stands out from everybody else. He's like taking everybody one on one. No, kind of how you talked about Vinny.
Yeah.
Nobody could stop him, bro. Anytime he takes you to the byline, you're getting cooked. But the crazy story about him, and they like briefly mentioned it on the broadcast. He traveled with the Next Pro team, like the Seattle Next Pro team, the summer before this MLS season to Spain to like play like friendlies and stuff. He got an eye infection in his left eye, and his left eye is now blind, like legally blind.
Jesus Christ.
So he played this entire season without vision in his left eye, and like they interviewed him about it recently, and he was like, I have a quote. He said, "This doesn't affect me at all. My left eye is not working, but I keep working. I have one eye, but I can do better than those who have two eyes.
Hey.
That's my mindset."
That's huge.
Bro, in the semifinals, in the MLS, bro,
that's
cooking
Wow.
everybody. And like you could tell, like you could see like his eyes, like, it got infected. But
Yeah.
he's cooking everybody. So
Hey, man.
I was like, yo, hats off to Georgie.
Only got eye on beating his defender. Fuck it. If I got one, I'm gonna use one.
Exactly.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For comeback stories, I have two players that
I
I
got
have in mind.
Yeah.
One is Memphis Depay, an overarching comeback story.
Yeah.
He moved to Brazil. Was kind of like brought into Corinthians when Corinthians were sitting in a relegation place. The whole storyline around it was like,
So crazy.
Memphis Depay, why are you going to Brazil? Why are you leaving a top 5 club? Why are you going to a club in Brazil? Why are you going to a club in Brazil that's being relegated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He manages to put in, I think, 10 goals, 4 assists. Corinthians is now in 7th place. So they went from bottom, like, I think 23rd or 22nd place to now in 7th place. They have, like, basically, like, the whole city, at least the Corinthians fan base in Rio, has, like, kind of taken him as, a star, a player of the club.
Yeah.
He's out in the favelas with, like, Corinthians fans. He's doing, like, he's getting his hair braided in the streets. He's doing music videos. He's flying with helicopters. So I'm happy for someone that's used their career to, like, travel the world and, like, have experiences that I think all of us would dream of having. So
Yeah.
for that, I'm super happy for Memphis. Another player, similar-ish in terms of vibe, is Moise Kean.
Yep.
He was at Juventus. He barely played at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
He barely played all of last season at Juventus. And believe me, that was tough. But for him to have bet on himself, gone to a club where he was guaranteed to get playing time, Fiorentina for the first time in I think 10 years now are contending for the title. He is the second top scorer in the Serie A. He was player of the month last year or last month,
November,
in November. He is officially going to be a starter for the national team with Retegui up top, and so Italy has finally found some strikers that are scoring some goals. And the confidence that he now has playing on the field has also allowed him to have confidence in his personal life as well, which I'm always a fan of. He's putting out music, starting out like doing different clothing, like fashion shows and stuff that he wanted and has always wanted to do, but now has the license to do because he's playing well. And so, yeah, like we said last episode, it's a lesson for people who may just realize that a change of scenery can help. If you are in a place that doesn't believe in you, sometimes going somewhere where you're wanted is the best thing to do for your career. So that's the lesson for me.
I'm going to do, actually, my breakout player was going to be Pulisic. That's what I was focused on. But I'll turn it into a category is U.S. men's national team players in Europe. In the level of consistent success we're seeing at very legitimate top European clubs right now. So we have Christian Pulisic on AC Milan with Yunus Musa. And Pulisic has been arguably the best player this season, you could say, as a Milan fan. Of course. He's been exceptional, not just with goals and assists, but doing it in the biggest moments, right, including even against Real Madrid. And just how confident he is on the ball, how many things he can make happen, whether it's the dribbling, the shooting, finding his teammates. Just when he's at that peak confidence, he's one of the better players in the world. Not one of the best, not Ballon d'Or candidate necessarily, though that is a little bit of the trajectory if he keeps it up. Then to add in how well Weston McKennie and Tim Weah are doing at Juventus. Adding in all the guys at PSV, we've got Ricardo Pepi, Malik Tillman, Serginho Dest, and Richie Ledesma, who have been exceptional for PSV, who I believe is once again leading the Eredivisie title that they won last season. Not to mention guys like Austin Trusty on Celtic now. We've got Anthony Robinson on Fulham. Gio Reyna has returned to Dortmund. There's also Cole Campbell, 18-year-old American on Dortmund. To see this much of our national team and players from our country or of our nationality on these types of clubs in Europe playing at this level we've never seen this amount or at this level. And this is the type of consistency we need to be able to compete with the best.
Correct.
So I think this is a breakout moment for the U.S. for sure.
Amen.
And you got one for comeback? Or any sad injuries? Oh, you already did yours. My fault. One more for sad injury, though, I'll say Neymar for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Again? Again, bro?
Yeah.
Might be time to come to New York City FC. They say he wants to play in MLS, so.
I didn't like the quote from the Palmeiras sporting director.
About Neymar?
I didn't like
What'd they say?
She was like, it was like rumor that he was going to be joining Palmeiras. And she goes, "We're not running a hospital here."
Oh my God!
I didn't like as a Brazilian in the like you work in the soccer industry. Like the reason why your job is as lucrative as it is because of people like Neymar. I didn't appreciate that. I found that disrespectful.
That's no bueno. All right, so that is our 2024 wrap up. Obviously, a million other things we have talked about that you can catch on our previous episodes, but just some of our favorite players, moments, comeback stories, teams, etc. But as we are in the holiday season, we just had Thanksgiving. We got Christmas coming up. You've got office holiday parties. You've got New Year's Eve parties. What are some footballers you would want at your holiday dinner, holiday party, just to be part of the vibes? Who are you trying to vibe with out there? Who's the homie off the pitch, you think? Damn. Who are the characters you want there?
Definitely Frimpong.
Yeah, Frimpong's a good shout.
Good shout.
Frimpong is the bro that's going to bring a bottle.
Yep.
And he's just going to have a good time. Like, he might not even need to drink, but he's going to have good energy.
Oh, for sure.
He's going to be dancing. He's going to get everybody off their feet.
Yeah.
Come on, we not sitting around. Yeah. He's going to get all the aunties, like, grab their hand.
Definitely.
Yeah. Frimpong for sure.
I need Bonyface to be like the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The other side of that.
Jokester.
See the whole friendship, little jokester there too. I feel like that's really good vibes. On the aux, I got to get like Rafa Leao or Moise Kean. I feel like they know the music that's going to be bumping.
That's a fact.
I think we might need an Olise and a Cole Palmer to be like options to calm it down a little bit, or just be like, yo, the energy's a little high. Let me go over here when I just need to chill. You know what I'm saying? They're getting too competitive with Uno over here. Let me go with the chill guys in the corner.
Yeah.
I might need them as an option. Who you think about, Seb? Who's got to be at the table?
I like that Nottingham Forest little group that they got.
Who they got?
Ola Aina.
Facts, yes. And they balling out, too.
Ola Aina, Hudson Odoi, Elanga.
Yeah.
Morgan
Gibbs White?
Yeah.
That's a good little squad.
A little holiday party with them could be fun.
That's a good show.
Yeah, they're in a good place.
Their holiday parties.
It's probably
turn for sure. They just gonna keep bringing along what they give them, the boiled eggs.
Yeah,
or no, they're giving them the Hudson Odoi. Being Ghanaian. That's funny.
That was funny.
Yeah, we're probably missing somebody obvious.
I feel like we're missing somebody dumb.
Oh, Kamavinga, Chouameni for they be good vibes.
Yeah.
Vinny for sure. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want Mbappe there though.
I don't know.
He's scoring goals again. Why Kylian can't be there, bro?
I don't know what he brings.
Nah, Jude got to be there. Jude's great energy. You know what I'm saying?
What does he
y'all
bring?
are haters.
What does he bring?
Mean, bro? You just need someone just to enjoy the vibes with. Someone who's charismatic.
He's cool, but he's not adding anything.
I think he's the glue. He holds it together. He holds the group together. He can vibe. He can vibe with every group. I feel like he can vibe with every
turn
group.
up with the Real Madrid.
Yeah,
it's okay.
They want to turn up with me. Get it twisted.
Fair enough.
Right? They want to be a Vino.
Fair.
Saying tomorrow that.
Yes, sir.
Holiday dinner. Actually, and then who's Santa? You gotta have a Santa.
Who's Santa?
Who's Santa?
Fuck.
What does this mean?
Who's like a good Santa out of all the players? Who you think could be Santa?
Enzo Maresca.
Okay. Enzo Santa.
I don't know what this question means.
I don't really know either. I feel like Saka would be a good Santa.
No.
Seems like a really nice guy who wants to give to the
He's
community.
an elf.
He's an elf?
Definitely one of Santa's helpers.
He's
No disrespect. That feels disrespectful.
He has helpful.
Yo, do not call Bukayo Saka
That's his
Santa's
energy,
helper.
bro. He got
No, I felt disrespectful as I said that.
Yo, call Bukayo Saka.
They gonna cook me for that.
Nah, is he world class though?
No, he's not.
Really?
And they know he's not.
Oh,
He's not.
he's definitely world class. That's hilarious.
Can I hit y'all with some quick rapid fire?
Please do.
Please.
trivia? All right, so
I've never been asked a question on Five-A-Side.
That is so
Literally.
cap.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true.
No,
I've always
but
done the trivia.
You are more of the trivia. Yeah.
who was AFCON's top scorer?
It was the Equatorial Guinean.
Do you remember his name?
No, but he got stripped of it
Whoa.
because they found out that he actually wasn't Equatorial Guinean.
Oh, but
Wait.
he was naturalized, right?
Yeah, but they found out that he was naturalized too late to compete.
Damn.
But
Wait,
I forget.
do the goals just
what is
not
his
His
count?
name is Emilio Ensu.
Emilio Insu.
Oh,
yeah.
Was
Fourth
he
division.
like a defender or some shit?
He was a left back,
It was
fourth
'cause he
division or
was
something.
old. It's because he's old. He's like 34.
But he,
To
yeah,
be fair, he was the highest scorer, but it was just 5 goals. Not just like that's nothing.
It wasn't
but,
crazy. It wasn't like.
oh my god, he
Yeah,
scored
yeah.
like 15 goals. Which footballer broke the internet this year multiple times for wearing a dress?
Bellerin, no.
Do you have it?
is it?
It's not that.
It's got to be a French player.
Oh, Koundé. Koundé was wearing.
Yeah, it
some
might be
shit.
Koundé.
It was
It's
Yeah,
Koundé?
Koundé.
He wore a dress to Clairefontaine, and then he
Mhm.
wore a dress in the I think it was Le Fleur
Yeah, probably.
campaign.
Who wore the green goblin?
Oh, right.
You know the giant, like the guy who had the hoodie.
Konate.
It was Konate.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was
It's
crazy.
disgusting.
Who won the Golden Boot at Euro 2024?
Who won the Golden Boot at Euro 2024?
Give me a second. Fuck.
See, it's a good reflection of this year.
It's not Nico. It's not a Spanish player. Is it Musiala?
Mm-mm.
Kane? Someone stupid. I'm just kidding.
It was Harry Kane.
It was Kane.
Oh, it was
someone
Kane. I
stupid.
remember seeing that.
It was
Which-
2019.
Which player became the youngest ever goal scorer in Copa America history this summer?
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, guys. Y'all know this one.
Copa America, not Euros.
Was it Endrick?
Yes.
It was Endrick.
Yes.
I forgot about that nigga,
It
bro.
was Bobby
Bobby, yeah.
Forgot about him is crazy.
on your club.
Right.
Yeah, because he made that bullshit decision against Atletico that he's still paying for.
This year there was
According to Carlo.
This year there was a player who joined the ranks of a small amount of players to win league titles in Europe's top 3 leagues. So Serie A, Premier League, and La Liga. Do y'all know which player this is?
You're saying, so he won the 23-24 title somewhere and does now have in the
He
three.
won a league title.
A
so
league
like
title.
FA Cup, the Premier League title, Coppa Italia.
Oh,
like,
any
in
title
the-
in those 3
In the
leagues.
3 top leagues.
That could be a lot of dudes, low key.
Nah, it's like a very small list of people.
No, I'm
who
saying
actually-
like who you'd have to think about. Okay, who's been at this?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of permutations.
I don't think y'all gonna get it, but I was just like, Yeah.
What is João Cancelo? No, is it a City or Madrid player?
Can you tell us what club you wanted at?
Like where
Yeah.
he made the achievement?
Yeah.
Juventus.
Juventus.
Yeah. Coppa Italia.
So that means he would have probably who came from Danilo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Danilo. Yeah.
Good. Good. That's all from me.
I like it.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Celebrate
Happy
your
Hanukkah.
life.
Love y'all.
Celebrate your loved ones.
See y'all in
Love.
2025.
Peace.